Hey everyone, just want to make a quick video. The United States has changed policy on using nuclear weapons, and now their policy is they can use nuclear weapons upon anybody, not only nuclear peer states, but anybody. That should worry you. Currently, Russia and Ukraine have what they call it, special operation against each other. It's a war that NATO, which all of us Western nations belong to, is being dragged into and trying to inflate. That should worry you also. The UK has estimated that 10,000 people this year in the UK will freeze to death in their homes because they cannot afford to heat their homes. In Europe, they're cutting up park benches for firewood. Here in North America, the United States has less than 25 days of diesel fuel left. In case you're wondering, diesel fuel brings everything to you, the consumer. It drives your economy. Less than 25 days. Will this affect Canada? Well, since Canada has a huge resource of fossil fuels, unfortunately we cannot refine as much as we pull out of the ground. So we send it to the United States and then get it sold back to us at a much higher cost, by the way. Yes, we're going to face it too, just so you know. So all you folks running around worried about, I don't know, gun control, that's a big one these days. Worry about freezing to death this winter. Maybe have some food on hand. I'm just saying. Things are very weird now. The media's not telling you half the story. I have to go through 9 different news companies, we'll put it that way, to find one article that I heard a rumor about. But no one wants to talk about that either, because it might upset people or scare them. If you're the average person sitting at home right now, the average person just sitting at home doing whatever on a Saturday night, you should be very afraid. Things in the world are not good. We've never been this close to nuclear war. We're close. We're close. Yeah, I wouldn't start buying Christmas presents yet. Close. Close. And our governments are beating the drums of war. This should have you worried. It should. Your politicians want war with the Russians. The Americans are now saying that they're willing to use nuclear weapons. Doesn't matter if it's conventional or not. They'll use nuclear weapons. The United States Congress had a committee hearing where they ruled that COVID-19 most likely came out of the Wuhan lab as an experiment gone wrong. U.S. Congress just said this Thursday or Friday. That's a problem. We have problems, kids. Buckle up. 2022 is not over yet. But it actually may be really over. You gotta laugh at this stuff, because if you thought about it too long, you'd be like, whoa, whoa. And I'm not here trying to upset people. But turn off the CBC for a minute. You're in Canada. Turn off ABC and Fox in the United States. Turn off RT in Russia. Turn off Reuters. You know who I'm talking about. Go find some smaller media sources and start looking at some of the stories that are out and about. Multiple countries just went to a meeting in Egypt called COP24, COP26, something like that, where they're discussing reducing global farming by 50%. Where do you think food comes from? And they want to reduce it by 50%. 50, 5-0? If you have groceries, and you know how expensive they are, can you imagine doubling, tripling, quadrupling the prices of groceries if you can find them? So I'll tell you what, you line up for your next booster, and when you're sitting in that chair thinking about how's the world going these days, you may find this video and go, that is that guy for real? Is he for reals? I'm for reals. Yeah. These things are being spoken about, but not really on the mainstream media a whole lot. but you should probably check it out. Less than 25 days of diesel fuel. You're like, well, I don't drive a diesel-powered car. Your groceries come by a diesel-powered truck. Your car parts come on a diesel-powered truck. Everything. Your Amazon. Your Amazon that you love so much. Diesel-powered truck. Hmm? Yeah. 2022. Hasn't it been a treat? Hasn't it? We've had everything. We've had like war, inflation, disease. Have we had pestilence? I'm waiting for the pestilence to come. Maybe some hellfire or I don't know what else to expect. What can possibly else happen? Aliens? Hmm? Have you noticed the American government has talked about aliens now openly? Hmm? Is that why Space Force needs a huge shot of money? Is that why they need that? Hmm? I just had to make this video. I've been watching the news all afternoon. Alternative news sources. And you're thinking, oh my God, is that Rebel News in Canada? I follow Rebel News, but they're always begging me for money. And I do like some of their work, but no, it's not Rebel News. I follow and can't. I crap you not. Can I say that word on YouTube? That I follow probably 65 different news agencies in Canada alone. From mainstream to not mainstream, but mostly non-mainstream news. And then I'll find a story that piques my interest. And then I'll go searching for that in that 65 news agencies, websites, or whatever. And maybe 3 or 4 of them will have that news story. But each one will have a bit of a different take on it. And then kind of in the middle, you get the truth. Kind of like that Nancy Pelosi thing that just happened in the U.S. Rumor has it was her husband's sex friend who was in the house. And there was some sort of lover's quarrel. And there was a hammer involved. And people make their lives difficult. Anyway, I won't keep any longer because I'll talk all night. I've kept all this in for the past couple of days because my spouse is sick and tired of listening to me talk about news articles, and then that thing happens and she's like, you talked about that like that last week. I'm like, yeah, like sometimes it's easy to predict the news. There was a guy a few years ago, he was in New York or Boston, who showed up on every news channel at pretty much every story. He had a scanner, so he'd listen like to the cops or the ambulance, and he'd be like, there's something going on there. And he'd show up, and he had this bright yellow rain jacket, and he was a big dude. And became a bit of a meme for a while, but anyway, I won't keep you. You folks have a great night.